Here is our recap video from today. We just finished our live session. I'm going to show you guys the images that we took from today. Great things we found in cryptocurrencies. We looked at this crypto AGIX. We found great breakout last week, and we took the trade, and it's doing well. We looked at a crypto called BNT. We found that flats are at work. So that means that we're looking at supports on BNB. We're actually spiking down into these areas, which is a good sign of health, but we are going to need to deal with this big spike, and we deal with it by creating hidden battlers. Ultimately, I believe we're going to be going up to an overlapping target on BNT, on BNT, which means we still got plenty of way to go. There's an overlapping target based on the sword cut energy. So sword cut overlapping our target system. I think this is really a good crypto. We dealt with the hidden battler, so we're going to see that there should be a flat around 83 cents and around $1.46. Looking at very closely, we can actually see that price is bouncing on the top side of this, but yet the support is still here. This is a good sign. That's BNT. Ultimately, I believe these are great. These are still great prices for BNT. We looked at LCX. LCX is a crypto that we looked at all the way back since December and probably back further than that. The last resistance to break was 16. We pumped above 16 with a shakeout candle after that. This is very good. We were trying to identify the support, and we found it by looking at the wick side. So when we take the phantom and we bring it not just to the core but to the wick, we can actually see prices sitting on here, which means that all it takes is a little bit of energy for it to start moving up. This is a very healthy sign for a much larger move on LCX. I would not be selling LCX because I believe it's going to be healthy. If we look at LCX on the smaller daily chart, we can see that the volume is drying up, and this is a good sign for LCX. LCX recently entered the last sign of health, so we may be chasing this candle, but that last sign was just a few days ago. Okay, just a few days ago. Ultimately, we're just in this healthy zone. If we look at LCX on a monthly chart, we can see some really powerful things happening. We can see that there was a strong push just to get us on top of that wick, but look at the support. It's right on top of that wick support on the wick side. And this bar is a very small spread, but look at the power of the volume in it. This means there's a lot of buying that is happening. So this is new incoming money on LCX. Okay, and then the next bar is a back-to-back bar on the monthly chart. Come on now, this is going to do really well because it's professional money coming in at this support. Ultimately, I don't think they're just trading this crypto only for a small move. This is going to be one that it's being accumulated for a very large move. Okay, so LCX, I expect it to do very well. If we take a look at some of our upper resistances, it looks like we're going to have some resistance somewhere around, I didn't take the picture of that, somewhere around 73 cents. Current price is around 38 cents. And that would be based on the distance from mid-phantom. However, if the real mid-phantom is on this wick side, then that would mean that we need to take the distance from here to here and bring it up here. And that would give us a new phantom somewhere about $1.65, which could make it a lot more interesting. It's very possible that is going to be the real resistance. I don't know at this moment, but I would suspect that it is. Okay, I would suspect that it is. It's very possible if we were to do a step up in the background and go backwards, this is our verification. Therefore, this is going to be the angle we need to look at. This is going to be the resistance we need to look at. It's all the same angle, but where it stops, it's probably going to be about here. Okay, so one of those two is going to be our option, and I hope you guys do well on LCX. What we looked at was a crypto called CIVIC, and CIVIC is in an uptrend, and we broke out on the wick side right about here, close to around October of last year. And as we broke out, we came down on the weekly chart to sword cut. We popped up. Now that we're up, we have a step up we're worried about, we're concerned about. And that step up's given us problems in the past. Now we're looking to keep this push above here. There's a lot of pressure to try to push it back down, but ultimately if we can stay above in the next few days, then this is going to be very healthy for this crypto, because it can allow us to start hitting the upper move. Now, previously in the past, when we moved up that distance, it was 3,000%. I believe the next time to the resistance is going to be similar, a move of total of around 3,000%. It's going to be about the same. We are going to have to deal with HB1 and HB2 just like we did with the other crypto that we were looking at earlier, BNT. But this is similar. Breaking above this HB area, there should be a flat about right there. And I did it in this color. HB support already happened. We broke above once, found support, two, found support. The next HB is this one right here along this. So we placed the hidden banner along that flat. And now we can see that we're sitting right now on top of that support. If we combine that with the data and the volume on the daily chart, we can see that we came up on pushing volume, and then ultimately we have no demand that's here. So that means, but a back-to-back up bar would indicate that there's blatant buying, just buying, absolute buying, new money coming in on this, okay? Because we came down on no demand, followed by immediate up bar in here, and I believe this pair is part of a buying scenario, okay? If they buy too much, it's going to show up in the volume on the up bar. Okay, but a buying begins on a down bar. They did drain the supply. The move is ready to continue very soon. Okay, the problem is on the monthly chart that we have this strong push. We need to stay above this area on the next day or two. Okay, so I need to get above, and if it cannot close right on the line, that will be a negative. But if we can close just like this, that's good. But there's still a big push to try to, so much pressure to try to squash it down. But if we can ultimately stay above this area on CVC, CVC is going to do well. Okay, so I wrote this. Price needs to close above 17 cents on the weekly chart. This would mean that price has successfully pushed through a major step up that's been holding price down. A strong push would equal much higher prices in the future. If price only closes exactly on 17-cent area in the next 1 day and 10 hours, then that's not good enough for a safe entry. So be careful. But if price closes somewhere around 22 cents, somewhere significantly above this gray line, 17-cent area, yes, don't be surprised if you do get the pullback. I think this crypto is going to do really well, and you might be looking at a huge percentage of growth. 42 cents to 38 cents is just the next target. On the board, current price is 22 cents. I don't believe all the new money that's coming in is just for this move here. I think you're actually going to be going up to ultimately the higher numbers on CVC. Okay, beware of also the weekly flat at 69 cents. We looked at AURORA. And AURORA was new. We did find a sword cut. We did find that there was shorter term health after the last push, and building on top of this parabolic was good. That means we're overall up a healthy area. We also were able to draw a new foundational line here. We're looking for prices to come back down and draw a new resistance. The new foundational resistance on AURA can be drawn here. This was also given prophetically to one of our members of our community, Ian, man of God. You guys hear him often. There's core, and new verification price rejecting on this area. Ultimately, we may come back down just a little bit, but once we break above, that's going to be a new area of health. I put the little H so you guys know that this is a healthy area. You want to draw this watch line. Put in a little alert on the top side. If you get above it, get ready to buy this. It's going to move up after that. We're seeing also the draining of the supply. So in this area, the challenges to the support, or as we come down into these areas, the supply is being drained up in a very big way. And that's a very strong indication that we're going to be able to bounce us strong, because once the supply is drained up and there's no more market here, the markup will continue. And so that's very likely that this is going to move up. Also, we saw the same thing on the weekly chart, where we see the supply drain up after no demand and some buying in the background. The next targets for AURORA are $63.83 to $4.71, and current prices are 37 cents. So there's a target on the board that's very high up in the sky. It's very possible that all the buying that's coming in is to be able to get some new high numbers. So I would expect AURORA to do well, and a move up to that area would be 1,158%. That's not a 9. It looks like a 9, but it's percent. See? Sorry. But yeah, 1,158% on AURORA. I hope you guys do well. And it's most likely going to move in April. So some of you guys are going to do really well if you have some aura. We looked at Seoul. And in Seoul, we moved past target number 1 after hitting target 1, came down, came up to target 2, came down, broke above target 2 with some support on that side, and then we went up to target number 3. Now we're actually building on top of target number 3. But that's not all, George. We have more. See, this is a better, clearer picture of how it looked. See, we're building right here on target number 3. That's really good. In addition to that, we had some parabolic watch lines. When we broke above those watch lines, prices was ready to start moving up. Okay. We have a parabolic that levels off around $98. We can see currently for Seoul in this area. Oh, if we can see Seoul, that we look at this area more carefully, we can duplicate our parabolic angle. Now, I already did on the daily chart. This is a weekly chart view. I didn't take a good picture of it on the weekly chart, on the daily chart. But if we bring that angle up straight up in the air and bring it to our last phantom, then it tells us there's actually support, not just the target itself, but support on here. Now, I switched over to a weekly view, but that's basically how to draw this, and these images will be uploaded. We bring the angle straight up in the air, and it's going to show more clearly on the daily chart. But for our images, we can see this whole area, therefore, should be our support area. It's healthy. Okay, now we're going to look at it a little bit more closely. And as we look at it more closely, we had a watch line that was broken, some healthiness, and then a new watch line that's created and new health coming in as well. So new health at $190 is where the new health is. And this is a 12-hour chart for this crypto. Now, when we took the new key angle, we drew it down here and we duplicated it up here, we can see that we might be looking at an ultimate target somewhere up into the sky, and those prices are around $1,900. So there's still a lot of money up into up on the board for this, and there's 947% up to that move. That's a lot of percent. 900% is pretty good, and we are going to need to beat some numbers. We're going to be able to need to beat the old high, which is just a flat, but I don't believe that flat is very strong, so I faded the color away. Looking good, looking healthy. Okay, we also have a lower prophetic number of around 21 to 25, which is around these supports here if price were to fall during these times. Now remember, I will take this moment and say there is a possibility that we will be experiencing some shakeouts due to external factors, but it's not in the data. So that means if there is a shakeout and we do hit low numbers, it's going to most likely be short-lived, something like a news event. These things would probably happen at somewhere around the lunar eclipse time of around April 8th. So if there is some kind of shady business or funny things happening in the market, it's probably going to be around April 8th, but it should be very short-lived because across the board, almost across the board, I do not see any really weaknesses in cryptos. I was the one to see weaknesses back in 2021. We saw down markets. I let you guys know when it's time to get out. I don't see that right now. I see the price building in the correct areas where it's supposed to be building. So there's a lot of health that's in the markets right now. I don't expect this to affect us in a negative way for too long if there was something external. We looked at altered state token, ASTO. We saw that there's health in the market. This is a map that we drew, and it's on our website. We did our tiger calculation. We can see our last resistance should have been along this blue line, and we broke up into health. The next resistance is about right here. That became support. We're sitting on top of that support right now. ASTO is looking good. We see pushing volume followed by no demand. This is a good sign for ASTO to continue going higher. This is a very good thing. We broke out of a smaller watch line. ASTO's already in there, and those prices are a little high right now, but we're still within the range to buy somewhere as close as we can to the support. We're at 0.76 to 0.59 cents. Those are great prices for ASTO. We ultimately are building on top of this resistance. And yeah, so I don't have a resistance for us at the top, but at the moment, I would say that it's strong. So I don't know how high this one's going to be going, but it looks really healthy and well. We looked at ADA. ADA is in an uptrend. It broke above its last parabolic here back in around October times. These are the October sword cut prices. That's on the monthly chart. When we look at this a little bit more closely, we can see that there's a resistance all the way up to at $8 $8.67 based on the phantom. Any prices above there would constitute another trade. But as it is, we can see that price is breaking above, sitting on top of its step ups. This is very bullish. Okay, and we have targets number 1, which was already hit at 72 to 86 cents. We already hit that target. The next target is somewhere at $2.02, and then finally we have prophetic numbers around $5, and then the resistance at 8.60. Now current prices are only 65 cents for today, so a move up to $2 is still very significant, and we can see that is on the board for ADA. On the monthly chart, we can see again pushing, followed by the no demand, but this is a back-to-back candle on higher volume, and this would constitute this pair being a buying, meaning new money, some small new money coming in at this resistance, and that's good. That is a healthy sign that we would need. We also did something new. We adjusted the angle from our previous chart to find some new resistance, and I'm going to show you why the $5 number is more important. When we adjusted the angle to account for the lower step-ups, we did a new resistance in blue, and I believe this is going to be ultimately the one you want to use. When we did these angles here, it's basically the core up here to this wick, and that's the key. Okay, it matches the step-ups. So this helped us to find the real true angle and true resistance. And that's going to give us a $4.95, which overlaps that $5 number, which is very interesting. Meaning if price goes up over the next month, we're looking to hit $5. If we blow past target number 2, we're going to $5. And this is a 65-cent coin on ADA. So in our live session, we can see that's the angle we really want to use. It matches our step-ups in a more stronger way. Okay, so this is the angle we're really using. Target's still on the board, and that's where we're at. By the way, on the weekly chart, we can see strong flat here, still resistance here, and then finally we come up and come down, and we're coming down. And the reason we're using flats is because when we see flats at work, we continue to use flats. If flats were at work here, we came down and spiked in this area in a big way. Now we draw the next flat. The next spike should be in these areas of 0.595 to 6130. So those are the last best prices we can get. There are short-term weaknesses that are entering into this crypto on this is the weekly chart. Short-term weaknesses that are entering on the daily chart, which means we're probably going to challenge these areas again. And because of the heavy supplies, I don't believe ADA is going to move today. I believe you're going to get some better prices a little bit later. Okay? Short-term weakness, longer-term health. So don't get caught up on all the short-term weakness. But if we get above 78 to 76 cents, if we get above 78 to 76 cents, you're ready to move. Okay? The move on ADA is 700%. That's a large move up to the $5 move, up to that $5 target, prophetic, resistance. I mean, it's all there. I would say that you want to not exit until you get $5. Yeah, don't just settle for the smaller targets if there's a stronger evidence for a prophetic number overlapping major resistances and targets. Okay. We also see that there is the trend of volume in the right direction. We're seeing that we want to see this volume drying up as we come down. So ultimately, I want to see volume really low as we're coming back down into these blue price areas of 59 cents to 61 cents. Look for this in the short-term future. If you see the price draining, look for the move to be broken. Okay, and to the upside. We looked at ICP. We can see that we still have a target around $37 to 39 cents. Current price is $18. We broke above our last sword cut back here towards the end of January, and we had $5.65 as a sword cut still on the board. We found support at our reverse sword cut, which we've been looking at since last time of $10.26. We last looked at ICP a while back ago. And we can see that over the many weeks we've been building on top of this support. Okay, there's our, now we did something new. If this is going to be our key angle here, and yet we're playing on both sides, then it means it's a phantom, which means that we have to draw the key angle down here, and we take that distance, and we bring it to the top. We can see that this is where the health should be, and this is where our support should be, in addition to that reverse sword cut. And we can see that's the case. We can see heavy buying coming in after the push. We had strong push, we had strong buying, and there's a lot of supply, which just means new large incoming buying to the tune of around $10 to $11 million coming into this crypto. So we see that before we were barely trading in the volume below just around 1 million, and now we're at 10. So there's a lot of new money coming in at this support. This is very strong. What we're looking at ICP. Ultimately, if we move up to that target, it's still 111%. But due to the large money coming in, I wonder if that's all that's going to be our target. Okay. Now, I put this because the massive amount of new buying coming into ICP on the weekly chart. I believe this crypto will move much higher than its target. I didn't put move. I put much. I move much more. Much higher than its target at $37. I don't have an exit point for us at this moment, but that might be a very good place to take profit at $37, and that's at least 100%, but I believe you're going to get more than that. Okay. We looked at the all-time high. At the core, it was $200, and then the all-time high was $3,000 when we looked at this on Binance. Again, from $18 just to $37, I don't think that new money is coming in just to reach 37. I think they're probably going to get 200 or maybe even more in the future. Could you imagine go back to 3,000, buying it at 18? Wow. Okay, that's a move just to the core of 1,241%. I think that's more like it. We looked at BNB. We see that there's a monthly flat. I don't have much data on BNB, but we are in an uptrend on this. However, I can see from the data along this monthly trend line of 624 to 605 that the volume is drying up every time we challenge that line. If we take a look and we take the angle and we duplicate it up and put it at the core, and then we take the distance on top, we start getting a trend of trend resistance of 4,978. Current price is 605 right now, but if we get above this flat and build, it's possible we'll go along somewhere that track, and those are some of the prices that we might be seeing as a minimum if we able to hit this. As time goes on, that number will go higher. Currently, again, looking at the volume, I can see they're draining the volume at this top. It's very possible this line is close to being broken. Okay, close to being broken. It's very possible that might be the case. We'll have to watch it. I don't want to buy BNB right now until we break above this line, but it is challenging this top multiple times. We looked at BRET. I don't have much data for BRET, but I believe there's a resistance somewhere around 31 cents. Current prices is 8.08 cents, and there's $286 on the board until then. Here's some support, that flat at 0.49. Price is yet to come down. It's just broke above, and it might just continue going on, but this is a 6-hour chart. We finally looked at USDT.D, and you'll see this from our report, but I believe that USDT pushed us in the right direction downwards, and then we're coming up to the resistance in a strong way, but sitting exactly where we should. We saw that last week, and therefore the next week is actually a down bar. This is a very healthy sign that we're going in the right direction on the weekly charts. The monthly chart needs to stay significantly out of this sludge area from up here in blue. We need to be down here in the next day. Today's the 30th, and if we can pass into April being in this area, that is a very good sign that April will be a fantastic month for cryptos. Okay. We looked at, and you guys go see that report as well online, and then we looked at AGIX is just continuing going up like we talked about in the beginning. We looked at SHIB, as you'll see in that report. I believe all of this is the accumulation area for SHIB. We can see that we're sitting exactly where we're supposed to be on top of this red line that we've had for almost a year now. We've had this number. We knew where it was, and when we see it happening, we recognize it immediately because everyone in Chartroom has had this number on our chart. It was the 28 number, 4028, and we've been looking at that for a while. Now we can actually see what's happening in this live, and we can see they're draining the supply in this entire area. These are the best prices we can get for SHIB, closest to the bottom. Closest to the bottom side is the best prices, but any price in these, I'm telling you, these prices, I don't mind paying any of these prices. Although the swings will be seen really wide. You'll look at your account and be like, oh, I'm down 600. Oh, I'm down this. It will look, but you're not concerned about the smaller trade. Although there was a smaller trade, you can make that. I believe the whole area is accumulation for SHIB, and I think you guys are going to do really well for SHIB. We looked at Volt. Volt is close. Volt has a move up to its resistance of 62%, but I also believe you're going to be going much higher for Volt because of some of the calculation that we include in our report that you guys saw on YouTube. So that's going to be public on YouTube. But ultimately, I believe they're draining the supply, but there's still heavy supply and no demand. I want to see no demand at these same prices in the near future, and Volt is going to be ready to pop with lots of higher resistances. Okay, and again, just due to external factors, unless there's external factors, I don't believe Volt is going to go down. I think you're going to have strong move on Volt, and we have strong band pullback. And we have strong band pullback in this crypto. So watch the report and you'll see my explanation on that and why I believe Volt is going to do really well. And that covers our report for today. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you everybody for your support. The full video will not be uploaded. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll be right back.